Hello, everybody. My name is Samuel Jean. Everybody calls me Sam. I am one of the co-founders of the Haitian community. And today for this workshop, we are going to be talking about, oh yeah, everybody can see my screen? Just give me a thumbs up. Cool. Um, the integrated approach to nonprofit fundraising. Okay. Now, what does this mean, right? This is just a lot of verbiage. One of the cool things I'm gonna do too is everyone that joined us today, I'm gonna give you guys a special treat at the end of this. Okay. And then I also want it to be a little bit more interactive too. So please feel free to stop me. And then we can talk a little bit about these things. Okay. Now, what we decided to do for this workshop is really focus on nonprofit fundraising. We noticed that one thing that happens is a lot of the nonprofits that has they just started, they have less than $500,000 budget. Actually, I've seen a lot of nonprofits that actually have less than $20 funding, right? So, and the one thing that they always talked about is one is we can't raise money. We don't know how to. We don't have the tools. We don't have the resources. Um, and what we decided to do is let's do a workshop on this, right? And I'm gonna provide you guys with this slide because it gives you a lot. It's a lot of verbiage, but it gives you a lot of understanding of the challenges, right? The challenges of nonprofit that they face, which is limited resources that we talked about, building and maintaining donor relationships. I use a CRM for all of my, and I do have a nonprofit too. And the Haitian community is actually going to build a nonprofit on top of the Haitian community to really showcase a lot of this work that we're doing. Now, the donor relationship aspect of things like this is how, I use a CRM to really drive a lot of the messages. As you already saw, a lot of these messages that gets delivered is all based off of automation. Obviously I had a hiccup uh pushing out some of the automations, but that's for another story. The competitiveness of fundraising. There's tons and tons of nonprofit organizations that's out there right now. Everybody's looking for money. Everybody have their tin cans out. Everybody's looking for money, trying to find different ways. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And lack of, technical experience. A lot of people, obviously we know this, especially for the aging population, they're not technically savvy. So they don't understand what I'm talking about when I say utilizing a CRM, right? Or even understanding of how to even receive cash donations electronically, which that's kind of sounds crazy. You're like, wait, hold on. But I've met organizations before where they have no means of receiving cash donations electronically. Okay. Navigating through grant applications. Everybody, a lot of us know this is there's so many resources that's out there, especially if you're in Miami. Um, I found tons and tons of, like, we have a spreadsheet with tons of grant opportunities, right? And we could go through that list. There's different, we're gonna talk about all this different funders, different ways of actually where that money is at, because there's tons of money for nonprofits. But the problem lies is there's a lot of people also searching for that money, right? um, and then measuring the impact, right? So these are all the challenges, right? And what we're going to talk, any questions before I move forward? Okay. And here's the goals for nonprofit fundraising, right? Now, we want to increase visibility. We want to drive get our mission out. We want to get, if you have any questions, just go ahead, or you want to say anything. And if you've seen, you can even write in the chat if you've seen some challenges, other challenges outside of this scope that you've experienced. You can we can talk about it right now, or you can, if you're too shy, then you can put it in the chat. Jennifer. Okay. Jennifer, did you want to?
Hi.
Oh, no. Okay. Rachel?
Yes. Hi guys. My name is Rachel. I am in Miami, and I've been part of a nonprofit called MJD Wellness and Community Center. We have a clinic and we have a food pantry in North Miami Beach. And my role is event coordinator. Okay, so I plan community events with other vendors and other partners. And so I know you mentioned like the limited resources, but I think it's another aspect to it would be like a limited staff, right? Because we have a grant, we have staff members, but we're not, we need more funding in order to be able to get other staff that is supposed to fill certain roles. So I hope that makes sense. It's limited staff due to the amount of due to low funding, I would say.
Yeah, that's a great point. And there, and we can touch and Rachel, thank you for bringing that up, because I'll touch on that too, as we go down the line, because our organization too have seen a lot of that issues where what we've done for this is there's other ways of actually getting it, at volunteers, there, or even there are grants that actually will help you out with that aspect too, and then we'll go through that. Okay, but that's a great point. So goals for nonprofit: increasing visibility, right? So we want to get our mission out. We want to tell people what we're doing, the great work that we're doing. Diversifying the funding sources, so different strategies, fundraising, actually doing some events, right? Partnerships. These are some ways that we can do this. Enhancing the donor engagement. So we want to send out messages, emails. We want to really keep that communication alive, especially for the people that's always donating to us. So we want to keep them engaged with everything that we're doing. Improving our digital presence. So we talked about one of the workshops that we talked about was SEO, utilizing different tool sets, crowdfunding platforms, and these things, and building capacity for grant writing, and then we'll talk about the success of that, and streamlining funding processes, implementing new tools. There's a lot of tools out there, and running an organization is very difficult in itself. Now you have to go into a whole new world of marketing, especially what Rachel talked about was staffing. So if you're limited with staffing, who's going to run these campaigns for you? And then now we'll go through it. So these are the touch points. Any questions before we go through this? These are the touch points that we're going to go through, is the challenges and the goals. Any questions? All right. Building an effective nonprofit website. Now, how many people have on the call, you can put in the chat, how many people have a website for their nonprofit organizations? You could raise your hand, or not yet. Okay. Rachel has one. Okay. Now, for the for the websites, you know, one of the things that we talked about is limited resources, right? Now, with limited resources, what happens is you're going to have to spend money to build a website. We got to understand the purpose of the website, right? We have to understand why are we building a website, you know? The cost, the right platform is, are we going to do Wix, Squarespace, any of these type of websites are we gonna utilize? And then what's the difference between them, right? So where you have a WordPress site where it's a little bit more hands-on, right? You could buy different templates. Oswald and I had actually a really a conversation. I told him that would get a little bit deep dive into the difference between a page builder and WordPress. With WordPress, the times have changed where you're not doing a lot of coding with WordPress anymore. You can actually get out of the box templates, put it on there, and then just go to the store, the WordPress store, the plugin store, and then you can buy different, or you can actually, you don't have to buy plugins, but you can add different plugins to make the WordPress site a little bit better, right? And this is why I always stick with WordPress. It's a lot for me. I'm more technical, so it's easier for me, and I get to control more of it. Then you have Wix, then you have and Squarespace, and those sites. Even if you go to like GoDaddy, Page Builder, these page builders are very easy to use. They don't let you customize a lot of the code. You can, it's just a drag and drop, right? And then you can just and also a lot of the work these sites are pretty inexpensive too, right? But it comes down to time, right? Do we have time? How much does it cost? And then as you build out the websites for your nonprofits, you got to think about your mission statement. You know, you got to think about writing the correct mission statement, creating all these pages, and making sure that you have a donation page for somebody to donate um to your nonprofit organization. Now, the key thing to this too is, and I'm going to show you guys a demonstration of usually the blueprint, right? The blueprint of when you're creating a website for your nonprofit organization. Any questions before I go into the demo of the website? Come on, guys. It's supposed to be interactive. No, any anybody?
I don't have a question yet, and I'm driving, so I'm just paying attention.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'm not driving, but I'm paying attention.
So now when you know, a lot of people contact me to build their websites for them. And what we look at, and I'll go through here, is the digital, and when we create the website, we got to put a lot of, we have to think about the fundraising tools, right? So we know our digital platform, but what about you know, how are we going to collect that money, right? There's different sites. We have PayPal, right? We have different donor management, Facebook fundraising, GoFundMe. There's also some of the websites that you guys build will have options or different plugins so you can then receive cash donations. I know some people use Stripe. There's tons and tons of tools out there, right? And these are the things that you want to integrate within the website. Rescue. Hold on, I'm trying to see rescue. Should have had this site. Let's see. Social media strategy. I'm trying to. I'll pull up the website after. Social media strategies, right? Now with the platforms, we're looking at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. one thing that we talked about was who's going to manage this, right? We want to show engagement, especially for the donors, right? We have our donors where we're going to be enticing to come to the platform, but they also need to see the missions that we're doing, right? And we want to add that right into the website too, right? SEO is super important, which stands for search engine optimization. Once you create that website, we're talking about all these tools that you need to really effectively put into the website to make it more robust, right? And then just like I did today for this workshop, email marketing strategies, right? As we go in and we start collecting money from donors, we start adding different call to actions on the website on where people can fill out different forms. We're collecting a lot of data, right? We go to different events, just like Rachel said. And we want to collect as much data as possible, because then we want to start thinking about email strategies, how to blast out the email about events that's going on, really just like adding in the links. There's so many things that we can do within the email strategies, right? And these are the things that's very important when it comes down to fundraising. It's engagement, right? Any questions? At the end of this, I'm gonna give you guys the list that I use, that we've been using for grants. And you guys can go through and I'm pretty sure you guys, how many people put in the chat, how many people you know apply for grants?
I haven't applied for any grants since we just started.
You just started?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we have one person that applied for grants. And have you won any grants? Have anybody won any grants?
I have actually recently got a grant, a small grant from the Children's Trust.
Oh.
And it's in support of their the community outreach grant. I didn't get the full amount that I requested, but I got about 70% of that. So, but this is my first time. This was my first time applying for a grant. I started the nonprofit in September of 2023, and I applied for 2 from the Children's Trust. I got the smaller award, and I got denied for the larger award, but they did give like at least not necessarily extensive feedback, but they did give like some, like, to see how I scored in the, like, they had like a scoring chart, and they kind of gave that information at least so I could see how I scored, and maybe not maybe, I'm definitely going to apply again next year so I could hopefully do better in the application cycle.
That's awesome. That's great news. I'm very familiar with the Children's Trust. And a lot of the grants that we apply for, or anyone apply for, there's usually a point system that happens where we have to meet a lot of these different criterias. And yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of these grants have a scoring system. I apply for a lot of federal grants. Does anybody know about grants.gov? Grants.gov is very good. Those grants are pretty intensive. So good luck applying for those. But for the children's say, yeah, the app looks scary. The app looks scary, but wait till you download the grant requirement PDF. It's actually, you know what I'll do is I'll show you one that I'm doing. And it's a lot. So if you ever look at grants.gov and you want to apply for something, make sure you have at least 2 months to really go through it, because it's going to take you a while. With the Children's Trust, if you can explain a little bit to everybody how was your experience? How long did it take you to complete the application for the Children's Trust?
Yeah, I'll come off camera. Sorry guys, I'm cooking while I'm trying to like take notes and listen. So they had the Children's Trust had 2 application cycles. I ended up applying in the second cycle. So they're going to do it again in the fall, just for anyone who's interested in applying. The enhancement grant was about, I think the max was 20,000 for the community outreach grant, or for the advocacy one, that one was a maximum of 5,000. And the cycle was from, they open it in the fall around like October, and I think it closes around like December or something. It's open for maybe a period of like 2 months. But they do have deadlines for you to do the pre-application, because there's a pre-application that's due, and then they have like an actual, because the pre-application, I guess, is like, do you even qualify to apply for it?
Mhm.
And then once they approve you, then you have access to the actual application. And they allow you to finalize that. But again, I missed the first one in the fall, so I ended up doing the spring one, and it was open from maybe end of January until like end of February, I think, maybe like a 4-week window. But the Children's Trust also does ask a lot of questions. So it was it's not as intense as the ones that I've seen on grants.gov for sure, but they do ask a lot of questions around like, what are the outcomes you expect from this like event or program, depending on which grant you're applying for. They also ask about the mission. They ask about the people that you're serving and why, or how that fits into the Children's Trust mission and vision and like their organization. So I have to kind of do a little bit of background research and just looking through their website and seeing like, what is the Children's Trust all about? What is their mission, their vision, and how does that tie into what I'm trying to do with my nonprofit organization? And then also more information about like, what are you going to use the grant for? And I can't recall if they asked for a very like super detailed breakdown of how you're going to use the money, but they did ask like in some capacity, like even if it's like a rough general, like, and so for me, I kind of just said like a certain percentage would go to this and a certain percentage would go to programming, and so on and so forth. I'd say I worked on it for about like 2 or 3 weeks on and off. And even then I was still like the day before, like trying to figure it out and type certain things. But I definitely, maybe not 2 months for like the other ones, but I definitely say you need at least like a solid 2 weeks of focus to kind of, if you haven't done grants before. I will say for certain wording, I used ChatGPT to help me with certain wording. But then also I worked for a nonprofit before, and I wasn't in the development side of things. I was more of on the programming side. But that kind of helped me as well, like knowing some of the language that I could use. So yeah, that's about it.
No, thank you for that. And you're right. Some of them, it definitely will take you about 4 weeks. I'm gonna show everybody, and you have done one from grants.gov before. You applied for one through grants.gov?
No, I started kind of looking at it, and then I was very overwhelmed, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try that again another time.
So let me show you one I just applied for. This one right here. So this is education technology media for people with disabilities. And I applied for this one, and it took me, and just like you, a lot of us, we have to use these tool sets, which is ChatGPT. And they give you a a really deep dive into what you're applying for. And if you see, there's just so much information about this. And then there's other there's like a project narrative that you have to apply for, you have to do. Some of them you need evidence behind it, about what you're doing. You need partners. Sometimes you need partners with education, or well, this is about education, but with other fiscal partners to meet some of these grants. A budget narrative, So it gets like this section here is just like the beginning, right? Of this. And it gets very, very overwhelming. And a lot of times the documents that you need to provide, it's a lot of documentation. But the reward is pretty high, right? A lot of them, like there's another one that I'm doing that's like 1.5 million. This is actually one of the smallest ones I saw. That's about 3.7. I'm actually doing another one for refugees. And that one's about 350,000. But you know, like this is next level. This is next level. Now, the other grants that we looked at that I look for are really the one pagers. Like Verizon always has like some grants where they're always like, I'm not sure if anybody knows about the Verizon grants.
I've heard of them, but I've never like looked into it or applied for it before.
Is that question towards me?
Yeah, or anyone. I did an appropriations project this past cycle for the 24-25 fiscal year with the state. I didn't get it. But we also live in it's Florida. So and my nonprofit, the community that I'm serving, I don't know if that's the reason why. You know, things are very political. It has to get voted on in the Senate and the House, things like that. So I'm feeling like that's maybe why. Because the community that I'm serving is very specific to Black women and girls. But I just was curious to know if anyone has applied for appropriations project before and maybe had success with that.
Yeah, I haven't yet. One of the good things too, that a lot of people might not know is if you reach out to your representative, you reach out to, I actually just got an email back from one of the representatives from Massachusetts. I have property in Massachusetts and in Florida, so I get to dabble between both. And you can reach out to the representative and you can let them know, you know, what they're looking for, right? What's available. You tell them a little bit of what you do, and then you can actually push, and you can actually put a it's usually called a non-solicitation, right? Do more of those. Have anybody done that before, like non-solicitation funding, or understand the difference between solicitation and non-solicitation? So solicitation really means what they put out there for the public, right? And then everybody is going after that grant that's out there for the public. And then there's also non-solicitation that's not in the public, where you can actually just go talk to your representative, talk to the mayor, talk to the people, the change makers in the community to see what you could actually do, right? You can actually put a proposal or grant in front of them to see whether or not it might meet their needs. Have anybody done that before? Or no?
I don't know that I did it like that extensively, but I think it was a bit more informal. I've tried to meet with like certain members of the local government, I guess, in the city that I'm in, like, or the specific area of Miami that I'm in, like meeting with local city officials and things like that. But that was kind of when I was first getting started. But a lot of the things that I'd say, it's kind of frustrating. It's kind of like when you're applying for a job and you can't get the job because you don't have experience. It's kind of like that when you're applying for certain grants or trying to put yourself out there and ask for funding. It's kind of, especially when you're new and you're a new nonprofit, it's kind of like, if you don't have receipts yet, it's a bit of a struggle to get people to fund you, because they're like, this is good in theory, but what have you actually done so far? And that's kind of the struggle that I've seen. And this summer will be my first chance, or my first take at doing a summer program for my nonprofit. And I know that this summer I'm probably going to have to do a lot of things out of pocket, or do kind of like more grassroots fundraising than grants, because a lot of the grants and like the bigger pots of money that I might be looking for, those require some form of like maybe more awareness of your organization even existing, or just you having receipts like, this is what I've done so far in the year or two or couple of months that I've been, I founded the organization. So that's kind of the area that I find myself struggling in even going to talk to city officials, because they're like, oh, this sounds great, come back in like a year when you have something done. So
yeah, and you're absolutely right. And this is one of the challenges that was on the slide, is like, what is your footprint, right? And then how could you get your mission out there? So we know that, and this is what the Haitian community is doing. So we're doing a lot of events. We're getting people to know who we are. These workshops that we do on the bi-weekly basis. So, how are you impacting the community, right? Making sure that you're at these events, making sure you're always there to show what you guys are doing. And this is where social media is so important, because now you have the receipts, right? You're showing that. Now, going back to the slide, what about private foundations? Have anybody been, tried any going out after private foundation? I know you already talked about it. The Children's Trust is actually a foundation, right? They allocate, I forgot their budget, but they allocate tons of money for a mission that revolves around children and education, right? So that's a great one. But if you think about the Children's Trust and all the money that they have, there's tons of these other foundations that's out there, right? So understanding your niche, and then finding those foundations that align with your mission, right? Those are the things that you really need to focus on for everyone. Is focusing on looking at those type of foundations. And we already talked about tools, resource proposals. So let's move on to the slide. Okay. No, this is great. All right. So leveraging and what I wanted to show you guys too is, and one thing about me is I'm a technologist. So if I build a lot of tool sets to help the community. One of the tools that I actually built for the community is called Wishlay. I'm going to show you guys this. And let me stop sharing this so I can share Wishlay. You guys could go to wishlay.com. I'm going to put it into the chat. Okay. Try to navigate this damn Zoom. It's all over the place. Okay. Okay. All right. So now I created this platform called Wishlay, and it is a play on word between the wish list and the layaway program. Okay. And I'm not sure how old people are, if you remember the layaway program. So the layaway program is really where you're able to, I don't know if they even still have it, but we used to go to Kmart and my mother used to put a whole bunch of stuff on layaway, and she would pay a little bit, and then she paid it all off, then she was able to take it, right? So we created something similar to that, where this is the Haitian community, where you can actually raise funds, get cash donations, you talk about your mission, your organization, put your social media handles up, all of this information on here. And then you can also create wish lists of products. And this is our wish list, where we're right now, we're doing a internship program where all the interns will get a laptop. And these laptops is a crowdfunding platform where our donors get to donate to these specific laptops. And then once it gets funded, Wishlay will send it out to us so we can donate 5. If I want to donate 50 towards this, they'll donate it. Now, one of the reasons why we created this is because we went through, I don't want to get too side because it's not about Wishlay. So one of the reasons why we created Wishlay was because of, we understand that a lot of the nonprofit organizations, they don't have these means, right? They don't know these tools. They can't create a website. They can't do all this. So Wishlake creates a landing page for them, and it's all free. You don't have to pay for anything. Even if you receive cash, you get 100% of that cash donations. So if somebody sends you $10, you get $10. Okay. It's a dope concept, and it's absolutely free. So I want you guys to take a look at that. Okay. So when we talk about leveraging digital tools and these different strategies, we have to understand that we cannot just use one platform. We cannot. We need to understand that there's multiple platforms that's out there to get our mission done, right? So look, I shared a couple good ones with you, where if you don't have a website, check out Wix. You don't have the time to hire a developer, check out Wix. Check out check out a lot of these page builder websites. Different digital tools. We talked about it. CRMs, right? CRMs are super important. So, check out some of these CRM tools that's out there that can help really streamline your process, right? And then grants. At the end of this, during the thank you email that I sent out to everybody, I'm going to give you guys a list that I use to help in the list that I'm going to give you is not a complex grants where you're utilizing grants.gov and no, these are really easy grants. We're talking about $5,000, $10,000, and they're like literally one page of you just talking about what you need to do, and then that's it, right? And then you could push it out, apply, and then you'll hear back from them of whether or not you get the grants. But that's all I have for you guys for today. I want to open it up for any Q&A. Anybody have any thoughts, any questions? Nothing?
Yeah, thank you, Samuel. This was very informative for someone that's really just getting into the nonprofit industry in a sense, to know like what directions I should take when looking into the grants. I know I went to my city. I'm in Broward County, but it's pretty much the same Broward, Miami-Dade. But being that I went to my city hall to see if there was any grants or anything available. They just closed out one, and it was not publicized that much, and I was wondering why. But when you explained the whole soliciting and non-solicitation grants, it made sense. So to know these little things and where to look for grants was very informative. So as far as additional resources, will you be, you said you're going to be sending them? Is that in the chat you're going to add it, or?
No, what I'm going to do is at the end, you're going to get a thank you email. And within the thank you email, I'm going to have attachments for you guys. So one is going to be this presentation. I kind of speed through this whole thing because it's, if you already saw it, it's just a lot of verbiage, right? So you can kind of deep dive and take your time to read it. And then I'm going to send you an Excel spreadsheet with a bunch of grants that you guys can then choose and select from. And I know someone in the chat talked about they want to start a nonprofit organization. I actually don't know how to do that. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't done it yet. I do have one that I'm the president from, but I've never started a nonprofit organization, and I'm not a lawyer, so or want to give any legal counsel. But definitely there's a lot of tools online that can help you kind of just go through that process, right? Any oh yeah, so those are the things that
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you.
Yes, thank you so much, Samuel. That was very informative. Um, I actually like the wish list that you shared, so thank you for that because um like recently I created like an Amazon wish list like on a business account, but it's not that user friendly as like a birthday wish list that Amazon does. And so the reason I created it is because sometimes when we have vendors, they're like, yeah, we don't have it in the budget to pay. And so one of the things that I decided to do was to create that wish list. So I sent it off to one of the guys that helps us to create an account for Wishly. And I like the fact that they allow donations. So like one of my questions for you, I would say, because I know you said you guys you're a part of like Haitian community. Can you like give me like a brief explanation of what do you guys do and what would be the best way for so that I contact you after this meeting?
Yeah, so you can always so the Haitian community platform is a directory that we built, kind of like Yelp for the Haitian community, right? And then as we started doing this, we looked at it and we're like, you know what, there's a lot of um resources that our community actually need. So we started like really adding in different tool sets, different things for the Haitian community. So and each month we're really unveiling more and more resources for the community. And I'm one of the founders of this. I think you met I'm not sure if you guys met Shah, St. Cyr, and Brittany Isidore. She was supposed to be on here today. But we really started this really just to help our own community out. That's the point of this. But for me, and like I said, I'll get a little bit more about my background. I'm a technologist. So my background, I started off in mental health and recovery, working in Massachusetts for different group homes. I worked alongside the Department of Mental Health, working with children with behavioral health issues, mental health issues. I kind of got burnt out. And then I switched gears into technology. And then I really found my niche in technology and then started building software around helping the community. So right now, Wishlay is one of mine. I have another one called Studlytics, which is a student analytics platform. I have a healthcare and then a coaching platform too. So what I decided to do is Shah and we really talked about how could we bring all like my knowledge and my expertise in technology and his knowledge and expertise in sales and marketing to really help our own community out. And that's what we've been doing is we've been doing a lot of this just we're not getting paid for any of this. This is really just to help the community. Did I answer your question or did it leave?
No, and being in the community, this is very resourceful, and I thank you guys for creating this community, and yeah.
Yeah, and we're trying to, for us, we're just trying to grow the community, and we want to understand of the best way for us to grow it, and obviously it's based off community, right? So we have to have this dialogue. We have to have the conversation with everyone. We have to see, what does the community actually need, right? We can't just guess what the community need. We have to talk to the community. So this is where right now, actually the cool thing is Shah and Brittany, they're actually at an event right now talking about the Haitian community while I'm here talking to you guys about different taking my knowledge out and kind of helping you guys out on figuring out ways to actually grow your nonprofit or even just grow yourself, right? The other nice thing too is next month we're pushing out the academy, which is going to be another just tool set for everybody to get more knowledge on. Let me show you guys. Let's see, we still have 7 minutes, so let me show you real quick. Have you guys been to the Haitian community platform?
Yeah,
Anybody?
I went on to their when you guys like really first got on. That was a few months ago. That I started like following and going through the platform and got subscribed to emails and everything.
Got it.
I
Yeah.
signed on to it also a couple of months ago, but then I got an email that says that my subscription is ending, and I'm like,
No, I fixed it for you. You're still on there.
okay.
It was that happened with a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
When we first started, it was doing like this subscription thing.
Mm-hmm.
We made it all for free, so now everybody is back on there. You can actually search for yourself again if you want. The Notary Giant. But yeah, this is it. So we have you can find different Haitian restaurant. So the whole thing is, trying to build this directory of just Haitian services, events all around. So we're getting a bunch of feedback. We're getting a bunch of people that's just adding in content on here. One of the other things that actually the next workshop that we're going to be doing is on the store, on the marketplace. Shah's going to be running this. And the nice thing about the marketplace and the store is you can actually find we're gonna put digital Haitian stores on here, which is dope. So as you go, any of the brick and mortars, they can put their digital store on here. And a lot of this stuff, what we looked at is, like I said to you guys before, it is time, right? A lot of people don't have time to build a website, to manage the website, to do all this. This is why marketplaces are very important that can help you out, because marketplaces like the Haitian community, we spend money on really pushing this platform out. So if you're on this platform and somebody finds you, it helps out, right? Especially if somebody's like, hey, look, I need a Haitian notary in New York. They can go on here and find a Notary Giant, right? A nice little plug for you. Oswald. And then
Thank you.
yeah, no problem. I knew you would like that. And then and this is what we're launching. We're launching the Academy. So take a look at it. We added a bunch of more resources, Rachel, since I think the last time you were on. And then our podcast. So our podcast, it is growing. So we just launched our 3rd episode today. And if anybody want to get onto the podcast to talk about the mission that you're doing, you can then, sign up to become a guest on there. And then, yeah, it's just like I said, it's just a bunch of tool sets. Okay. Oh, let me give you my email. So my email is actually, wait, if you want to, I don't know if you guys are on your phone, but I'm gonna give you guys my email. It's sam@thehaitiancommunity.com. Okay. And then I will also give you guys let's see, my link tree. I think I put it up there already, but I'm gonna give you guys the link tree. So you guys can have it where we have all of our stuff on there. Okay. All right. Any other questions? We did good on time. We started a little bit late, but we still ended it right on time. Okay.
Where are you posting?
Huh? If you
Where are you posting the? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's in the Zoom chat. So you'll see the link tree in the Zoom chat. I added my oh, actually, sorry. It for some reason it did a direct message. I'm sorry. That's why you didn't see it. My bad. Let's see. That's that.
Now I see it.
Yeah, I don't even know how I did that direct message. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, everybody have a good night. If you don't have any more questions, thank you for jumping on, and I will send you guys an email shortly.
All right, I'm waiting for you to turn off recording.